Hi everyone, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. I just wanted to address something before we got going today. I'd appreciate it if you have something bad to say that you just keep it to yourself, because I'm just starting out, so I know my videos aren't amazing, but never, not once, did I watch someone's video and if I didn't like it, I had to say something negative to them. Never. I just got out of the video and went on to the next, because I just think that is incredibly ignorant. So, I will remove the comment the minute you put it on there anyways, so nobody's gonna see your negativity. So I ask you, if you don't like my video, just don't watch it. Don't put the negativity on my channel, please. Thank you. But since we're over that now, I have this, it's another one-piece hat where you just work back and forth. It's kind of similar to the other one we did, but this one's just a tad bit different, and I think it works up so pretty. Don't mind the dog hair. I don't know if any of you have dogs, but it's everywhere. And I don't know how to stay away from it. I really don't. It just ends up everywhere. But anyways, this works up real pretty. So we work it back and forth this way, and then we're going to turn it and bring it together. Now, I used a partial skein, and it's landscapes. So mine's going to be child-sized. It's going to be more of a small child-sized hat. But you can make it any size you want to. It just depends on how many rows you do, and then we'll bring it together. So like mine measures across this way about 13 inches. So this is going to be like a baby or small toddler hat. Now, if you want yours to be adult, then you're going to make it until it measures about 18 to 20 inches before we put it together. Like I said, I used landscapes, but now you can use any yarn you want, especially with a hat like this. You can use a 3-weight, a 4-weight, a 5-weight, 6-weight. It doesn't really matter. Just use, on this one, just use the recommended hook size on whatever yarn you choose to use. If you have landscapes and you want to use landscapes, I used a 6mm, because I'm pretty sure that's what they recommend. Because I'm going to show you on another landscapes, but yeah, it actually recommends a 6.5, but I used a 6 just because I wanted it to be kind of tight. But really, you could use the recommended. It doesn't matter. So even if you are using landscapes and you want to use a 6.5, that's totally fine too. Yeah, and of course, you know, have your tape measure and your scissors and your tapestry needle for sewing, because we're gonna slip stitch it together, and I'll show you that. But we're gonna cinch the top up. So you definitely need some kind of tapestry needle, or, you know, big needle. But let me get situated and I will show you how the pattern works. And then I'm going to let you go and you can work it up. And then we'll come back and close it up and cinch the top. So I'll meet you right back. Okay, so we're going to get started on this. And you want to have a multiple of 2 in your chain. And let's look real quick. Now you can make this chain-wise as tall or as short as you want it. It just depends on how tall you want your hat to be. You gotta take into consideration that we're cinching up part of the top, so it's gonna take some of the length away. But mine is about 11 inches tall. And I'll have a little bit that I can fold over, so it'll have like a little flap at the bottom. That's the way I designed this one to be. But you don't have to do that. You can make it shorter and just leave it, you know, laying down. With these kind of hats, I tend to like the little bit of a flap. because I think it looks really cool. But like I said, it's totally optional. It's totally up to you. But we're going to make a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to chain our multiple of 2. However tall or short you want it to be. Just measure it out. And the chain usually, when you chain and you measure the chain, it tends to be a little bit longer than what it's going to turn out to be. So just take that into consideration too. Now I'm just going to chain like 12 so that I can show you guys, because I already have my big piece made. So I'm just going to show you the pattern here. Okay, so I've got my 12. You guys do your however many you need with whatever yarn you're using. And for this project, I'm going to work in that back loop. Now this is kind of dark yarn at this point, so I apologize for that. But I'm not going to go in like normal, like where I go in this way. We're going to go in the back loop. That third loop in the back, just so that we have a nice clean edge. And we're gonna skip the first 2, so the one coming out from your hook and the next, and we're gonna half double crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 of those loops, and we're gonna do that all the way down our chain. We're just gonna put half double crochets. Well, if I could get in the stitch into the chain, I mean, we would. But we're gonna just put 1 half double crochet in each stitch until we get to... Now, I don't know if you guys notice, but when I'm working like with chain work or back loops or stuff like that, I tend to grab this bottom part here. I don't know how I picked that up, but for me, I feel like it keeps it from stretching too much. So I always grab at the bottom here when I'm making the stitch. And I was watching back one of my videos and I saw myself doing that, and I thought, you know, I should tell them why I do that. But yeah, so I always grab it at the bottom, and for me, I feel like it doesn't stretch it out too much. But see, so now when you get to the end, you'll have a row of just half double crochet. Now this is a 1 row repeat, so it's real easy. This is just, we're just making a base with this row. And then you're gonna chain 2, and you're gonna turn your work. Now where we're gonna start is the bottom of that chain 2. So down here. So right at the bottom of your chain, we're gonna yarn over, and we're gonna go into that bottom part of that chain and pull up a loop. And then we're gonna go to the next stitch, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. You'll have 5 loops on your hook, and you're gonna pull through all 5. Now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go right back into that same stitch we just finished with. So not the next one yet. We're going to go into the one that we just worked and pull up a loop, and then yarn over again and go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and we've got 5 again, and we're going to pull through all 5. We're going to go over that again. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go in to the stitch that we last worked. We're going to go in there and pull up a loop. And then we're going to yarn over and go into the very next stitch, pull up a loop. You'll have those 5 loops, pull through all 5. And then that's what you're going to repeat all the way down. You're going to yarn over, go in the same stitch, the last stitch you worked, yarn over, go in the next stitch, and go through all 5. And that's what we're going to repeat all the way down to the end. I figure this isn't going to be a real long video, so I'll just work along with you guys. And I do apologize that this is so dark. I just grabbed a landscape because I wanted to show you on the same yarn I worked with. And this was one of my partial skeins, and it's really dark. I should have thought about that. When you come to the end, you're gonna finish up in that last one. So let me show you this one more time. So when you come to the end, you still have one stitch. You're still going to do the same thing. You're going to go into that last stitch you worked, and then into the last stitch of the row, and you're still going to do your little, I call them little pod stitches, the little pods. I actually think they look like flowers. I just think this is the prettiest. And with this yarn, it just works up so pretty. So then at the end of every row, you're going to always chain 2. It's always a chain 2. And you're always going to start in this chain, the bottom of your chain 2. You're going to yarn over and grab your first loop in there. And then yarn over and jump into the next. And finish it off. And then you start over again, going in the same and the next. And that's what you're going to repeat for the entire length that you want it to be. You're just going to do that over and over again until you get the length that you want it to be. If you want to make a child size hat, baby hat, if you're going to do baby hat, probably about the same size as mine, like 13 inches. If you're going to do child size, 16 to 17, adult size, 18 to 20, and for a larger head or sometimes a man's head, up to 22 inches. There's good stretch in this one, so you know you could go a little bit smaller than what you think, because there's good stretch in it. It's gonna lay real nice. Let me show you. Like it's got real good give in it, so you could go a little bit smaller than what you think you need it to be, because it's gonna give you good. It's going to give you a lot of space in here. So go ahead and get your length going where you want it to be. And then we'll meet back and we will connect it, and then we will cinch it, and then we will be done. So I'll see you in a Okay, once you get the length that you want it to be, we are going to connect the sides. And what we're going to do is... Let me get in a good spot here. You're going to make sure that where you're working at is on this side. And we're going to go into that first stitch. Now we're not going to worry about this side, you know, the bottom of the chain. We're going to go into the first stitch on this side. And we are going to find the first stitch on this side. And we are going to slip stitch the sides together. We're going to slip stitch it closed. We're going to go into the very next stitch on this side, and then the very next stitch on the other side. Pull it through and slip stitch it. And we're just going to do that all the way down. We're going to match up the stitches on both sides and slip stitch it shut. So go in this one, and then on the other side. And see, because we did that third loop on the other side, it makes it easy to see where the stitches are. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like a stitch now. So it's real easy to match it up and see where your stitches are. So next stitch, I'm going to go in, slip stitch, next stitch, and so on. You're just going to do this all the way to the end until it is put together all the way. So I'll let you guys do that, and I'll get mine closed up. And then we'll meet back and we will go from there. So yeah, just go ahead and slip stitch that down and we'll meet back. Okay, and then when we get down to the end, don't worry about this chain 2 that's down here. You don't want to slip stitch into that. You just want to go into that last stitch. And you'll notice that, like, there's a little bit of a, on each end, it kind of has like a V. So one option is, if you have yarn left, you can, like, this side doesn't look so bad, but we're going to cinch one of the sides up. But on the opposite side, you could always do like one row of single crochet around the bottom, which I think I'm going to do, and I'll show you how I do it. Just because it cleans up the edge a little bit where you're going to fold it up, and it just looks nice. So at this point, though, you can close off, cut your yarn, and we're going to cinch it up. Now because we're going to flip this right side out, but before we do that, let's cinch it up. That's going to be what we're going to do right now. And I cut off because I want to cinch it on this side, because this side I have bigger V than that side. So I cut off so I could come down to this other end. And if I could find the end of my yarn, that would be amazing. There we go. But it works the same way, even if you're not connected to the hat. Like, we're just gonna, I'll show you what I mean, because it's not that hard at all. You're just gonna take your yarn and you're gonna go in, and you're gonna go in and out of the stitches and leave yourself enough yarn to get around, because this is a bigger, I mean, if you're doing an adult hat, your hole will be bigger than mine, but you want to make sure you have enough to work with to get around the entire thing. But if you left it, you could leave it attached and cinch up the other side. That's totally up to you. But you're just going to go in and out of the sides of these rows, just like they were stitches. And we are going to bring it all the way around so that we can pull it tight and closed. And then we'll have to sew in all our ends and all that fun stuff. But I will show you my single crochet row after we get this cinched up. So go ahead, and whether you left it attached and you're cinching it, or you're doing it like me, go ahead and make sure when you go in and out of these stitches, don't go back in where you last come out. Go into the next part so that it doesn't pull your yarn back out, because then you'll have done it for nothing. And don't pull it cinched yet, because if you did it my way, because this isn't attached to anything, so it'll just keep pulling the yarn. So you gotta wait until you get back around, and I'll show you when we get back around what I am going to do to attach that. So go ahead and get yours cinched up, you know, get all the way around, and then I'll meet you back and I'll show you what I'm going to do and how I'm going to finish this part up, okay? Okay, when you come back up around, just to make sure, this is, I go across these stitches right here that we slip stitched. I come across here and bring it over so that it's all the way around. And then I'm going to hold on to this end here, and I'm going to pull the rest of this so that it tightens up. Now I know we are not supposed to put knots in crochet, but, and then because I have so much extra, I'm going to pull this back a little bit. But I'm going to make a small knot right here. I'm going to do a double knot so that I know this isn't going to pull out. And it'll be on the inside of the hat, so it won't really matter all that much. And I still like to, even though we made that knot and it's pretty secure, I'm still going to go in and out across here a little bit. So I'm going to go in one way and come out the other side here. Well, and try not to knot up my yarn. Well, it's one thing about landscapes is you really got to be careful with it because it's kind of fiddly, but it is literally my favorite yarn to work with. Like, I love Premier yarns, but I really love landscapes. Like, I think Lion Brand and Premier are my favorite brands, but landscapes in general is my favorite yarn to work with. Like, any chance I get, I make something out of it. So, and like, if you've seen my other videos, then after I've gone through a couple times, I leave a bit of a loop here and I come through it with my needle so that it makes like a little tiny knot there so that it's secure. And then I'm just gonna weave in my end here a little bit to make sure it is nice and secure. I'm just going to go back and forth a couple times. You know, and I'm sorry about the beginning of this video. I got a bad comment yesterday and I thought, geez, I just started. My videos aren't going to be great. Like, you know, and I'm sorry if they're not. I'm learning and I apologize constantly. But I appreciate anybody that does watch my videos. I think that's great. I think you guys, I thank you for liking my work. But again, if you don't like my work, I don't want you to feel like you have to watch my videos. Like, there's been plenty in my YouTube life where I didn't like the video and I just turned it off. It was that simple. Just turned it off and moved on to the next. So I apologize for my rant, but I will delete them. Because I don't want any of you to have to worry about negativity either. Because that's crazy. Okay, this other stuff I'll sew in later. I shouldn't have even made you watch that, but I just wanted to get that part done. So then we're going to turn this right side out so that the seam is on the inside. And if you notice, it kind of just blends in pretty nice. Like, you can still tell there's a seam there, but not a lot. I mean, I think that works up nice. Now, if you want to do, and see, look at how nice that top looks. These colors are amazing. But see how nice that works out on top there? That's really cute. Now, if you want to do a row of single crochet along the bottom just to clean up the edge, I'm going to make a slip knot to attach it. You know, especially if you've got this V that, you know, because you've got the chain 2 and on each side. So just to bring it together, I'm going to jump into here. You know, like, you can really start wherever you want. You really could, because we're just going around. So just pop into any spot, and then we're going to go back into where we, you know, slip stitch on. We're going to do a single crochet, and then in every single row, you're just going to evenly space out one single crochet wherever you can find a spot where it looks like a row. So like, I went in here, so I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to jump into here, I'm going to go in here. The rows are kind of wonky because it's a different kind of stitch, so really you just, it doesn't matter because we're not doing anything special here. It just has to be evenly placed around. So wherever, you know, get in where you fit in, you know? Just so that you clean up the edge nicely. Crochet in your end, so that's one less end to sew in. There, it disappeared. There's no more end. How you like that? So yeah, we're just going to evenly space out some single crochets around the end here. We're almost done. I mean, look at that. And this hat works up quick. I think this one and that other one like this that I showed you guys work up so quick and nice. And it's one of those stitches that it's just flowing and it just goes easy. And I like that. Another thing about this single crochet row is I don't like to do too few either. Like, that's why I say just, you know, evenly space them out wherever you'd like to. Because if you do too few of them, it's going to shrink the bottom of the hat, basically. And then that's not going to be real comfortable, you know. So I say the more single crochets, the better. Because then it's going to leave it nice and loose with the rest of the hat. Now see, when you come back around, we're going to close up that ugly, nasty old V that we left here. And here we go. And now we're back to the beginning here. And I'm going to jump over here a little bit, and I'm going to single crochet myself up there. So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go into the stitch we started with. And then we're going to slip stitch into that first one. Now, you can always go around one more time, or if you don't want to go up that way, because you can close it up this way too. You can just jump across and see, it'll close that up a little bit, but you're going to have, oops, I didn't mean to pull that out, guys. I'm sorry. My big old hands. But you're going to have a little bit of a hole if you do it that way. It's just the way some of these hats work up. But it's not bad because you won't really see it. And this will be folded up. So, I mean, it's up to you. You're either going to be left with a little V no matter what going up that way. Or you can close it straight across. And there's just a little dip and a little hole. I mean, it's personal preference at this point. But after you slip stitch, you just chain your one and cut off. And then once you sew in all your ends, you're all finished. And see, just fold this up with a nice big cuff at the bottom. And you got yourself a cute little beanie. Now, originally I had set out for this to be an adult hat, but I ran out of yarn. So I said, okay, well, it's going to be a baby hat then. So the cuff on mine's a little bit bigger than what yours would be, because on the adult one, it's wider, so the cuff doesn't sit as wide, but I still think it's a cute hat. Cute baby hat, look at that. It'd be a little bit slouchy or whatever, it's super cute. I like it. But like it wouldn't, if I was setting out to make a baby hat, it wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have made it so tall. But like I said, I ran out of yarn, you know, working this. So it is what it is. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys can make some real pretty hats with that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, and if you are interested, I have a Facebook group called Curiosity Crochet also. And I'd love to see the hats you guys are making with me. And pretty soon here, I'm going to start expanding my channel a little bit more than just hats. And I've got a yarn order placed that a couple of them actually, that I think I'm going to do some unboxings with you guys and show you what I've got and where I got it from and the deals that I'm getting, because I tend to buy my yarn on sale because I never have any money. So that's what is coming soon. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.